So let's be honest. Can we? Can we just have a real to real conversation and talk about what it feels like right now for you who if you built a business that is draining your soul, then you didn't build the business at all, right? You built a prison. So let's talk about what it is that you can do right now, feeling trapped where you are right now, so that you can get free. Because there is truth to there being an escape route, okay? And I'm going to tell you what that is. But let's first talk about the freedom, the false freedom trap, I'm going to call it. The false freedom trap. Okay, this is where you left your 9 to 5, your cushy corporate career, whether it was in the corner office with a beautiful view, if you are or were a C-suite exec at that level, or if you were sitting in a cubicle somewhere, it doesn't matter. But you left your 9 to 5 in order to have the freedom, the flexibility to feel fulfillment, right? To feel the joy, the peace, the power. You wanted control back in your life, right? You wanted to feel the pleasures that you craved. You wanted everything that life had to offer. And so you were going to be your own boss and you set out to sell and you hung out your shingles and you thought it was going to just be the next best thing since sliced bread, right? I know I'm dating myself, but you get the point. And the reality is you are working longer hours than you were working even in your very demanding corporate career. You're stressing out more, you're burnt out more, and you are working more and making a lot less money at the same time, right? So it's not like you're still exchanging time for dollars, right? However, you are also seeing fewer results, and that's not cool. Now, what is the burnout blueprint, as I like to call it? The burnout blueprint is this: you are seeing signs right now that you're building a business wrong. Okay. You're building the business wrong. What does that mean? What do you mean wrong? I mean, you don't have the structure in place that you need. You don't have the systems. You don't have the support. You don't have the right strategies. And therefore, by the way, that's not sexy, ladies, right? So you are burning out. You are burning out. That is the burnout blueprint when those things are not in place. Okay. So, how do you fix that? Well, I like to call the fix the feminine flow fix. Why? Because that is what it's really all about. Like so often, especially coming from corporate America, we're used to, and especially as a leader, okay, we're used to operating in our masculinity, right? We're very dominant in those roles because we have to be. We're the boss, right? We're the boss of a lot of people. And that is sort of like the expectation there. And it's nothing wrong with you having that same dominant presence and that same masculine energy when you need it in business, because there are times you do need it. However, we want to flow freely and fabulously in our feminine energy, darling. Okay. And that means we are embracing ease in business at this age. And the truth is this: you don't have to hustle your way to success. Okay, you really and truly don't. And I don't know, I do know the messaging that's out here in these internet streets got everybody twisted. Okay, but I'm 9 years in as of this recording and counting, and I can tell you I also started off that way, but because I came from, corporate world, 20 plus years in leadership, 25 years as a nurse, and in healthcare, and 30 years in corporate America altogether. Okay, so I do understand, and it could be quite frustrating because we have to unlearn that, right? But the reality is, you do not have to hustle your way to success. You do not have to struggle your way to success. And you wouldn't have to if you had the right support system in place. Okay. So it's about flowing freely. We want to do things in ease and in excellence and in elegance, right? And that's how we want to operate, and that's how we should be operating. So that means aligned energy matters, okay, over the hustle. So I want you to start with you. Start with you by rebuilding your business around your life, not the other way around. See, that's the problem. Unfortunately, a lot of us get into this space and we don't know any better. And we're so eager, so excited, so exhilarated and thrilled and so happy we finally get to hang out our shingles and we're ready to just get this thing started. We're ready to become the CEO of our business, our brand, and our lives. We want to be the boss of us. We don't want anybody else to be the boss of us. And so we just jump all in, and before you know it, we're like in the thick of it, right? We're literally in the trenches, right? Building the business without realizing that now our lives or our life revolves around the business. See, and we learn that in corporate, because when we get to corporate, we work, 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 and do everything that, whatever all of the corporate expectations are. And then life comes after, right? Because we're working all day and we spend most of our days and our time at in our jobs, right? 8, 10, 12 plus hours. And then we go home and we have a little piece of time and energy left for barely ourselves, because if you have a family, which most of us do, right? So be it a spouse, a significant other, children, or what have you, you know, you give that to them, and then very little goes to you in the end because you're just so exhausted. So we have to unlearn that in business. And because we usually just kind of all of that transfers over oftentimes, right? That whole mindset and that whole thought process around, okay, I'm going to leave corporate and start my own business, and I'm going to go all in. I'm in this thing to win it, right? I'm in it to win it. And that's great. That's a wonderful attitude to have. However, the problem with that, as I said, is we end up in all of the marketing madness and the confusion and confusion of it all. And we're in the trenches and we're just, doing the work. And we look up one day and we realize, oh my God, I have literally built a prison for myself. OMG, I cannot believe I have not only traded time for dollars over here, but I feel like a slave in my own business now, rather than just as I was in the corporate plantation, right? Now I've just left the corporate plantation to become my own slave. Like, what make that make sense? Okay. So that's what ends up happening. And so I need you to know that your health, your healing, and your happiness is what matters more. So you need to build your business around your life, not the other way around, not your life around the business. So I need you to hear me on that, because trust me, I've been there, done that, and I had to rebuild my business around my life so that I was taking a more of a holistic approach, because all of the aspects of my life matter, right? And yours does too. Okay. So your health, your healing, your happiness, your peace of mind always comes first. Now, I want to give you some quick shifts on how to break free, because I told you, you built a prison for yourself. And so now we've got to talk about, how are you going to get out of this prison? Let's escape, right? What is the escape route? Well, I'm so glad you asked. And so the first thing I want you to do is schedule CEO time. What do I mean by that? Well, that can look like a number of things depending on, what's right for you. You're the CEO, so you get to decide. But let me give you an example for me, okay? First of all, I want you to schedule just one sacred day just for you, okay? One sacred day of the week, weekend, evening, whatever works for you and whatever's conducive to your lifestyle and your current schedule, okay? Now that can change over time, but that's what we want to do. It's about really having a strategy for soul care, okay, and making self-care a priority. So as far as an example for me would be, one of the things that I do, and I'm very consistent at doing this, I am no nonsense. Okay. I don't play about my self-care Sundays. I'm very serious about my self-care. Okay. That is a priority for sure. So on Sundays for me, one of the many things that I do is I take myself out on a CEO champagne brunch. Okay. I love to be treated. I love to be pampered. I love to be wined and dined. So I don't need to wait for somebody to do it for me. I do it for myself. Now, for me, I happen to love a good brunch, and I love me some champagne and mimosas and all that good stuff. So, what better way to treat myself? One, I get to reflect on the week that passed. I get to look ahead at my life, and not so this is not just about business, right? It's about reflecting on your business for me. It's about reflecting on my business and my life and what's next for me. But it's about standing still in the moment and soaking up and absorbing all of that good energy, all of the positive things that have gone well, what didn't go so well. Okay, that's part of my reflection, is just being truthful, being honest with myself, and then saying, okay, what could I have done differently? And what am I going to do as I prepare going into a new week? Okay, it's one day, one step, one action, one day at a time, right? 1 week at a time, 1 month at a time, 1 year at a time. Like, we're just taking incremental steps towards whatever it is we aspire to achieve. And so during that time when I am having my CEO champagne brunch, I am enjoying the ambience of that at a restaurant or a resort or a cafe or wherever it is I choose to go. I usually don't allow anybody to crash my party, okay? I'm going by myself. However, every now and again, I might invite a family member or a friend and we can do it, that way, but it's typically for me and only me, okay? So I'm really, really strict around that, and my family's been well trained and they know that I don't play about my self-care Sunday. So that's one of the things that I do. But during that time, it also gives me an opportunity to celebrate myself, to celebrate my wins, what did go right? And even if it didn't go according to plan, I still stayed in action. I still did what was necessary. I still continued to build upon my habits, right? I still continued to do what was necessary to get me to the maybe not exactly the next level, right? But I'm working towards it. I made progress. So you've got to find ways in which you can celebrate yourself and have a designated day that's just for you. Again, it's about having a strategy for soul care and making self-care a priority. So that's an example I wanted to offer you, but you've got to think about what it is works for you. It might be a nice lunch. It might be, something that you love to do that, you feel pampered. Maybe it's just time to yourself to do whatever, right? A nice candlelight dinner. Maybe you want to treat yourself to something fancy or not so fancy, right? Whatever it might be, just write a list of maybe 3 to 5 things that are top of your list that if you could just think of something that would make you happy and make your soul feel fulfilled and brings you joy, what would that thing be? Do that. Okay. Just start somewhere. Also, delegate and automate. Let me tell you something. You do not have to do it all. Okay. We do not have to wear all the hats and do all the things anymore. Okay. And it doesn't feel fun or freeing to do that. Okay. So, and I want to say this to you too. If you are truly in your CEO season, do understand that CEOs don't hustle, hun. They hire help. Okay. So you need to start outsourcing some of that work that you have on your plate right now. You need to stop burning out trying to do it all. Okay. And get that S off your chest, girl. Stop wearing that working hard and excessive work and all of those kinds of names like a badge of honor. Okay. Gone are the days. We're not doing that anymore. And that is not how we embrace ease, nor is that caring for ourselves. That is not practicing self-love. Okay. I need you to know that. So stop the madness, stop the maddening cycle. Go ahead and get the help that you rightfully deserve. You would be surprised if you just compared how much time it is taking you to do all of your long laundry list of things that somebody else could be doing because it's there is them operating in their zone of genius. You know what I'm saying? This is what they do all day, every day. They specialize in that. Hand that off to them. Delegate, hire help, automate systems that you have in place or put systems in place so you can automate them and use systems and online tools and such because those are going to be your best friends. Okay. And there are so many. I don't have time to list them here, but I have other videos on all of that. So if you want more help on that specifically, go ahead and search for those videos so you can get more help in that directly. Okay. And the other thing I want to share with you is that I need you to reconnect with your why. Reconnect with your why. Because see, sometimes what happens is we get lost in the sauce, right? Just like I said, it's just so much going on. And when you're in the weeds of it and in the thick of it, you just feel like you don't even remember your why. But you always need to be rooted, grounded, and connected deeply in your why. Never forget the reason why you started, because that is the thing that is going to push you ahead, propel you forward, and allow you to rise to the occasion every single time. Because it will get hard, and there are going to be tough times. There are going to be really rough days, and there are going to be days and where you just feel like, oh my God, I am so over this. Okay, I'm just so ready to throw in the towel and give up. And it seems like at that point, it might even be easier to go back to just a day job, right? Or to just into the workforce. Don't. Okay. Don't. That is not what you signed up for. You signed up for your freedom, and freedom is your birthright. It's just that it's not that you are not, an intelligent woman. Okay, you're a beautiful, brilliant woman. And I know you were successful in the corporate arena. And so now you feel like a failure over here, but you're not. So stop. Don't even go there with those thoughts. Okay. I need you to know it's just the way you're approaching business that's very different from what we learned in the corporate arena. So do understand there it's comparing apples and oranges, right? They don't compare. Not really. Transferable skills, yes, there is truth to that, but that has nothing to do with how you actually operate a business you own. It's just very, very different. And I'm sure you know that now, right? Which is why, you're doing things just out of, the wrong approach, wrong order. You just need more than you need basically what I talked about, right? The structure, the systems, the strategy, all of that. That's what you need. And of course, the support. So I don't want to like harp on that too much because I think you get the point, right? But I do need you to hear me. And I also need you to know that if you need help, and I know you do, that's why you stopped and watched this video, then go ahead right now and don't hesitate to get on a call with me. I have a freedom and focus clarity call that will help you out tremendously to figure this thing out. Okay. You do not have to scale without you can scale, I should say, without sacrificing. You don't need to grow your business and make all of these unnecessary sacrifices like burning out. Okay. So I want you to put yourself first, and self-care matters more, as I said, and I'm going to keep saying it until you hear me. Okay. So let's figure out what we need to do next. Where are you going wrong here? What don't you know, right? Because you don't know the questions to ask if you don't know what's missing, where the gaps are. And that's what I'm here to help you do as a holistic business coach and freedom strategist. And I also want you to get on my wait list right now. Okay, depending on where you are in the journey, but this is going to be, I have a wait list for a new membership that I'm going to be launching soon. And I'm going to be talking about that more, by the way, at the Job Liberation Summit for Black women. If you identify as a Black woman, by the way, go ahead and make sure that you sign up, because it's still time right now to register and get your ticket for that virtual summit. Okay, you're going to love it because burnout isn't your birthright. Okay, liberation is. And that's what this summit is all about. Now, if you don't identify as a Black woman, that's okay. Like I said, the freedom and focus clarity call is also for you, as is the membership. That's what I was talking about just shortly ago. So the membership is not something I launched yet, but I'm going to make sure that I have the link to all of these resources that I'm mentioning so that you can just click it and go right to it, get on the wait list, okay? Because I am offering this as a deal of the year. It is going to be a steal for sure, but only to the first 50 people. It will be at its absolute lowest. And I promise you, I will continue to raise the prices after our first 50 people. Okay. So get on the wait list so you'll be the first to know when I actually go live with this launch. Okay. So that you can go ahead and sign up when it's at its lowest prices. I'm doing this for my founding members. All right. This is going to be something that is just, it's really what you need. Okay. It's for high achieving. I'll say I designed it for women like you who are high achieving, ambitious women, type A personalities. Most of the time we are, right? For who want to grow without grinding. Okay. We don't want to grind at this big old age. When we're in our 40s and beyond, it's like, girl, bye. Okay. Nobody got time for that. Okay. So I know you feel me, right? So if that is you, and I know I'm speaking to your soul right now, then you definitely will enjoy this membership. I'm going to be giving you so much value. So be sure to click the link, okay, and make sure that you do one of the three or all of the three things if it applies to you. I'm just giving you options because why? As I always say, options equal freedom. And that's what this is all about, building a freedom-based business, a freedom-based business. Now, if you're getting what I'm giving and you love these gems I'm dropping, go ahead and leave a comment below so we can get this discussion popping, okay? And if you're enjoying this content so far, then definitely do subscribe to my channel. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single episode whenever I drop new content and or go live, which I do pretty often or from time to time, just all depending, okay? But either way, you don't want to miss it, okay? And I also need you to know that I appreciate you being here. I really and truly do. Showing up not just for me, but showing up for yourself. That speaks volumes to the kind of woman you are, okay? So I'm going to tune out while you tune in. Be sure to share this video out with at least 3 friends and make sure you watch the next video that YouTube recommends, okay? As always, and until next time, I am wholeheartedly in this journey with you. Bye for now.